Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
On behalf of Department of Information Tech, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
On behalf of Department of Information Technology, uh, Sri Shankaracharya Technicals Campus, I, Dr. Dolly Shukla, would like to welcome Dr. Sanjeet Kumar Nayak, sir, in this 6-day faculty development program or the induction program on cybersecurity and autonomy. Dr. Sanjeet Kumar Nayak received the BTech degree in Computer Science and Engineering from Biju Patna University and University of Technology, Odisha, India in 2010. The MTech degree in Computer Science and Engineering from the National Institute of Technology, Rourkela in 2013, and the PhD degree in Computer Science and Engineering from Indian Institute of Technology, Patna in 2019. Currently, he is working as an assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Indian Institute of Information Technology, Design and Manufacturing, Kanchipuram, Chennai, India. Before that, he was working as an assistant professor at Bennett University, Times of India Group, Manipal University, Jaipur, and BITS Pilani, Hyderabad campus. His research work interest includes the cybersecurity, issues in IoT and cloud computing, applied cryptography, multimedia encryption techniques, AI for cybersecurity, and blockchain technology. He has published many conferences, indexed in core ranking and many journals of international repute, including IEEE transactions, Elsevier's, Springer's, etc. Besides, he serves as a reviewer of many IEEE transactions, Journal of Elsevier's and Springer's. Currently, he is handling a Data Security Council of India DSCI sponsored project titled Development of Lightweight Image Encryption Techniques for Cloud-Enabled IoT Applications using Chaotic Systems as principal investigator. He is a member of IEEE and ACM. During his PhD tenure, he was awarded for achieving first position in the technical poster competition during the Global Conference on Cyberspace 2017, organized by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. Also, he has received the third prize for the Lance Stafford Larson Writing Award for graduate students from IEEE Computer Society in year 2018. So I once again welcome you, sir, in this program for the session. So I'm inviting you for the next session. Thank you, sir.
Th-
Welcome you, sir.
th- Thank you, ma'am, for your kind words. Uh, so, good afternoon, my dear participants. So, let me share my screen. I believe my PPT is visible, ma'am.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay. Okay. So, to save bandwidth, can I switch off my video, ma'am? Okay. Thank you. So, very good afternoon, dear participants. And today, I think the second day of this workshop, AICTIST online refresher program on cyber security and autonomy. And I believe till now you already have covered a few topics related to different cyber security issues, and in future also in forthcoming 2-3 days also you will get different talks. So basically nowadays cyber security has uh, is an emerging area and many people are working in this, and if you will go to industry you will find lot of research problems they are working on. Nowadays cyber security has uh, is compulsory, you can say, with the current trends of attacks that is happening, with the current technology that is available with the attacker. So cybersecurity is very much necessary, and therefore these kind of workshops are very much necessary. So that I thank the organizers for uh, coming up with such an interesting topic, cybersecurity and autonomy, and giving me an opportunity to express my research area, or to share my research talk with all the participants. So in this talk, what I am going to do is I will give you a brief overview of what are the current trends that is happening in cybersecurity, what people are working on, what different government is also working on. All these things I will try to give you a brief overview of all these things, and subsequently I will switch to cloud data storage, because nowadays if you will see, each and every organization is moving towards cloud. So nobody is preferring to purchase their own hardware, purchase and maintain their resources. All nobody wants. Now simply they will go and purchase it from the cloud. How much data they will use, they will pay for it, and that's it. So in that case, what are the different challenges, security challenges that may come, and how do we solve it? So this is what is the agenda of my today's talk. Okay, so let's start then. So I would like to start my talk with this very important statement given by Mukesh Ambani ji in 2019. What he told that data is the new oil. Then what is the meaning of this? Data is the new oil. In the last decade, if you will see, those countries who were having oil, they were rich countries. I mean, because without oil, you cannot do anything, any transportation, and without transportation, the economy will become standstill. So therefore, in the last decade, oil was those who were having oil, we were considering them as rich person. But in the current scenario, what we are thinking is data is the new well. So the person who is having data, they become rich. Like you check whether it is Google, whether it is Facebook, Twitter, anybody, Amazon, all these companies are IT companies. They are not selling oil, but nowadays they are rich. Why they are rich? Because they are rich because they have data, and the company who is having data, they will become rich in the upcoming years also. So therefore data is the new oil, and that is what rightly told by Mukesh Ambani ji in 2019. So everywhere we are talking about data. Then here in this slide I kept 5 questions related to data. These are not the exact 5, I mean these are the only 5 questions that related to data, but to make a sequence so that you can understand what is happening with the data, or we can say what is the life cycle of data. So for that we are keeping 5 different questions. So the first question is how to get the data from. We need to collect the data, that is our primary job. Without data we cannot do anything. Then how to get the data? So for that we need to implement sensors. Okay, this is not the way. We can have social media also from where we can collect the data. There are different platforms from where we can collect the data, but majority of the data is collected using sensor devices. And the challenge is, because these sensor devices, they are less power, they are less memory. I mean, if you will see any sensors, hardly you can do any computation intensive work in them. So therefore it is very much necessary to efficiently utilize the sensor. So what is the job? our job as a researcher or as a technologist, what is our job? Our job is to come up with an idea, come up with an technique so that we can collect the data with minimum number of sensors, or rather, if I will put in a word, using minimum number of sensors, we need to collect maximum amount of data. That is our job. So therefore, this is the first question that is related with the data. Now, if I will come to the second question, now we need to communicate the data. And what is the need for communicating with the data? Because the sensor devices that we are having, or the sensors that we are currently using, they are very tiny devices, or their memory is very small. Hardly you can store the data that is being sensed for 1 hour or 2 hours. I am assuming we are collecting data per second or less than that. So the data where we will store, it is very difficult. We cannot store in the sensor devices. So we need to communicate the data. So during this communication, we need network. Now network is not always free. So we need to find a channel, or we need to find a path using which we can send the data from the sensor network. Okay, where we will send that I will come in the next question. But we need to find a network, or we need to find a path, we need to find a shortest path so that cost will become less. We need to find a free channel. We should not make one channel as we should not choose the same channel every time for communicating the data, and one channel will be heavily loaded and the other channel will be less loaded. So that we should not do. So therefore, our job is to use this networking technologies and to find how we can communicate the data from the sensor node. Now, where we will communicate the data? We need a large storage where we can store all this data. Then only we can manage the data. Otherwise, we cannot manage. Then where the data will be managed? The data will be managed in the cloud storage. Okay, cloud storage is very much essential where we will store the data, because cloud storage that we are having, they have large data centers where they are keeping the storage. Huge terabytes of memory is available. So space is not a constraint. So therefore, we will sense the data using the sensor. We will use the networking protocols to communicate the data from the sensors to the cloud storage. Now, once the data is communicated from the cloud storage, or once the data has reached the cloud storage, a natural question that comes to everyone's mind: why we are storing the data? What is the need of collecting so much of data? There comes what to do with the data. So we will use some machine learning techniques so that we will analyze the data. Now, whenever we are analyzing the data, why we are analyzing? Because we need to predict something, or we need to get some insight from the data, right? Like suppose one example I am saying, suppose many times you might have seen whenever you are scrolling your Facebook, suppose personal Facebook page, then you might have come across advertisement of Amazon, and what is the advertisement that is coming from the Amazon? It is the product that you might have searched recently in the Amazon. Suppose now in Amazon I am searching a t-shirt, okay, and the similar kind of suggestions will come in the Facebook. How it is coming? This is just one example I gave. How it is coming? Because they are analyzing the data is getting shared. Okay, all these things are happening. So therefore, machine learning techniques or data science, these are emerging field nowadays, because we have lot of data and we need to do something over the data. That's why this is the fourth question. And now Last question is we need to secure the data transmission. Like I told, the product that I searched, now Facebook is getting the data. Why it is happening? Because data is not secure. Okay, therefore whenever it is I mean very much crucial data, or it is sensitive data, like suppose some health data I am checking, or suppose I am visiting one website where I am purchasing some medicines, so if that data is getting shared, then that is not good. Okay, so I should not disclose the personal information. Therefore, it is very much essential that we need to secure the data that is getting transmitted, and even the data that is stored at cloud. Why? Because data that is stored in the cloud, we are not managing that data. We are not the owner of that data. Who is the owner? The cloud service provider is the owner. So they are managing that data. So whenever somebody is managing the data, whenever somebody is accessing the data that is not in our control, we need to be more cautious than our local storage whenever we are dealing with our local storage. So therefore, we need to secure the data transmission, and for that we have different technologies like cryptography, blockchain. I think you might have known what is cryptography. It is the art of encrypting the message. All these things you might have studied. Okay, so therefore these are different techniques. Okay, so using which we can secure the data. So therefore these are 5 generalized questions that is related to data. How to get the data, then second question is how data will be communicated, where the data will be managed, what to do with the data, and the last one is how to secure the data in transmission and storage. Now, just to give you an idea, like what data can do to somebody. Okay, so here is a news from 5th October 2021. Okay, I also experienced this issue. So what happened around 9 or 10 o'clock, WhatsApp is not working. Okay, whenever I tried to send a message to one of my colleagues, it didn't go. So then I thought maybe my network is not working. So after some time, everywhere in the news, this thing came. Okay, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram outage happened, and it got resolved on the next day around 4 a.m. in the morning. Okay, so therefore you see the CEO of Facebook, or I mean, all these are the same company. Now they changed the name to Meta. Okay, so WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, everything is uh, uh, everything got stopped. Okay, there was some major outage happened, and he loses $6 billion. Okay, so see, imagine how much revenue got lost for not providing services in WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, because these are nowadays. That's why people are telling that data is the new oil. So whoever provide data, they are rich. Okay, so if you will see nowadays how much reliable. Okay, so these type of things that happens, then people will come out of these services where they will use. Suppose this kind of situations happen every month, then people will obviously come out of this service and they will use some other similar kind of competitor service. Okay, so therefore nowadays data is very much essential, and management of data is very much essential. So therefore the question that I gave, the 5 different question in the previous slide, okay, it is very much essential, and we need to work, or we need to focus on those issues. How can we deal with them? Okay, now let us, because I told I will focus my question toward the, I mean, my talk towards the cloud storage. So therefore here what I am going to do, I am going to see, or I am going to discuss what are the different techniques that we can do, or what are the different security mechanisms that we can implement whenever we are dealing with cloud storage. So just to give you a brief overview, what is a cloud storage? It is a cloud computing model where data is stored in remote server. This is very important. Data is stored in remote server. We are not storing the data at our own local premises. It is stored in somewhere else and we may not be knowing, okay, where it is stored. These are managed and operated by a cloud service provider, okay, and these are managed and operated by the cloud service provider. And nowadays, if you will see, who are the cloud service providers? Those who have data centers, those who have invested in infrastructure, they have huge infrastructure. So they are cloud service providers, right? So therefore, we can manage the cloud storage, or our cloud service provider can manage the cloud storage and they can operate on it. And what we have to do, how can we get the data? Only if I have a browser, I can access my data, I can store my data, I can distribute my data, I can do some operations on the data. All these things I can do. So this is a nowadays many people are using, and like these are few examples I gave: iCloud, Dropbox, OneDrive. Okay, there are many cloud service providers are available in the market and people are using them. So in cloud storage, because of several advantages we are using. And what are the advantages? First thing is cost saving. So I already told that if you want to start your own startup, if you want to own a company, then to store your data, to manage them, you need huge infrastructure. Okay, you need to invest much more money in setting up the infrastructure, and that is not needed in the initial stage because you don't know whether your startup will succeed or what it will, where it will lead to. So therefore, once you got an idea, then people are coming with the startup. Then if you want to save the cost, initial infrastructure setup cost, then you need to use cloud. And then maintenance is also not an issue. Suppose there is some problem in the hardware, it is not getting enough cooling. So who will be the loser? Ultimately, you will be the loser. So therefore, we need to see how can we save the cost. Then accessibility. We can access it from anywhere. Wherever you go, you will access it. Okay, so that is a big advantage of cloud storage. Wherever, suppose I have done some updation of my data here, okay, in India, then I can share the data with one of my friend in US. He can also access the data. How that is happening? Because syncing of the data is happening. Okay, we can sync the data at the simultaneously, and the data is stored in the cloud, so anybody can also access to whom. If we will give share to somebody, they can also access. So therefore, nowadays people are using cloud storage. And ultimately, whenever we are dealing with cloud storage, because the data is not in our control or somebody else is managing our data, so it is natural that we should use some security services. And to the, I mean, very famous security mechanism, the very famous security mechanism that is available is Essential Security Services. It's CIA model. There are different models. This is the basic model. Apart from this, we have onion model, routing model, lot of models are available. So this is basic. Okay. And what are the things that is available with us? What is C? C is for confidentiality, I integrity, A is availability. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability are the essential security services that we should provide whenever we are dealing with cloud storage service. Confidentiality means we should prevent unauthorized disclosure of information. Like suppose somebody is storing sensitive data, then we should provide confidentiality. Then what is integrity? Integrity is prevent modification of the data. Nobody should modify the data. Okay. Then the last one is data should be available. Like if somebody is jamming the network, if somebody is flooding the network, then it creates issue. So these are the services that we should provide. And if you will go to cloud services, they are also helping you in achieving these goals. Okay. So no need to worry about them, but at the same time, we need to be cautious so that we can achieve this security services. So just to summarize, till now what we understood that there are some data owners whose job is to send the data to the cloud storage because they don't have enough storage, or they want to publish their all the things in the cloud. So what they will do, they either photos, contacts, files, videos, music, whatever is their wish, they will share it in the cloud, and there will be some data users who need that services, right? So therefore they will use it. Cloud is only for storing the data, and they will manage the data. If infrastructure is needed, they will do it. If storage is needed, they will do it. If database is required, then we can have that also. Anything that is available, we can store it in the cloud. Next, once the data is getting traveled in the network or it is being stored in the network, then the problem is there can be a privacy breach. Okay, if we are sending some sensitive information, there can be a breach of data whenever it is getting traveled or whenever it is stored in the cloud. Okay, so therefore the data privacy can be lost. Some attacker can see the data, even the cloud service provider, they can also see the data, and that we don't want. We want them to store our data without looking into our data or without viewing our data. So therefore, it is very much essential that we should check. We should check when we are sending the data. So therefore, how to solve this problem? Ultimately, many people will suggest that you encrypt the data. Okay. So as a general solution, what we should do, we should encrypt the data and before sending it to the cloud, and then the data will be sent to the data user. Okay, then they will decrypt and they will use it. So detailed mechanism I'm not discussing, but this is the overall idea that we should do. Now, because this encryption is a very crucial, so nowadays different countries are coming up with different rules and regulations to help the people of their country or to help their citizens. They are coming up with different data protection regulations. Okay, so this is a general data protection regulation. Okay, general data protection regulation, it was passed on, I think, European data protection regulation to harmonize data privacy laws across Europe. Okay, European Union, if any company they want to collect the data of the citizens of European Union, then what are the rules and regulations they need to follow? Those are mentioned in this regulation, and if you want to do that service, suppose like for example Facebook wants the citizens of European Union to open their account in Facebook. Okay, if Facebook wants that, then they have to GDPR compliant. What is the meaning of GDPR compliant? Means they need to abide by the rules and regulation articles mentioned in GDPR. And if you will go to GDPR, okay, for example, this is the website of GDPR. Okay, so I'm sharing it in the chat box. Those who want, they can see it. Okay, so this is the website of GDPR, and here many articles are mentioned related to data protection. Okay, here I have highlighted only a few, like for example, consent. Consent means what? So if any company wants to share the data of any person, like for example, whatever I am purchasing, whose profile I am viewing, all these data, if some company wants to send to somebody else or some third party, then consent of the user is necessary. Without the consent of user, if you are sending, then you need to pay the penalty. Okay, and multiple such offense can lead to high level of penalty. Okay, even I mean stoppage of the service in the entire European Union, that could also happen. So therefore, consent is very much necessary. Okay, then these three are very important. What are the things? Right of access, then right to be informed, then right to be forgotten. Sir, please mute. Okay. So these are the things that is very much essential. The first thing is right of access. Right of access means what? So, whom suppose I am a patient and my health record is stored in cloud storage. Now, right of access. What access I want to give to the doctor? What access I want to give to the insurance service provider? That varies. So therefore, it is very much essential that a company should or a cloud service provider should ask what are the different. Sir, please mute, sir. Dolly, ma'am. Can you mute?
Yes.
Okay. So, sorry for the disturbance. Ma'am, I think on the right hand side, these three dots are there, no? So there you can mute. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, uh, so the next thing is that these are the three things that are very much essential. Next is right to be informed. So if something happens to anybody's data, then the company should inform, and that is mentioned in Article 12. And the last one is right to be forgotten. Right to be forgotten means suppose uh, uh, I told my cloud service provider to delete my data, okay? Then they will delete the data and later it should not reappear. This is a scenario happened with Dropbox in around 2015. So in 2012, what happened? Some people told Dropbox that please delete my data. I mean, they deleted the data from the account. After 3-4 years, what happened? The same data reappeared. Okay, and it is a serious issue. So therefore, to deal with such issue, right to be forgotten has to be there. If somebody is telling, then you delete it. Okay, you should not hide the data. What generally they will do, they will not display it in their account. Okay, and that should not happen. Right to be forgotten means we need to forget it. So therefore, these are the articles available. I am not discussing all. So if you want, you can go and discuss. You can see different articles where it is present, what are the different issues, what are the things that they are providing, right of access, okay, right of eraser, right to be forgotten, just now I discussed. So lot of articles are available. Similarly, if you will come up with our country, then our country Ministry of Electronics and IT, they are trying to pass this Indian Personal Data Protection Bill. Now it is under a, I think, review committee. So, but in 2019 in Lok Sabha, they presented this bill, Personal Data Protection Bill, which is similar version of what I discussed in GDPR. Okay, and the same is also available in the link. And because this is a Lok Sabha article, so presented in Lok Sabha bill, so you can access it. I shared it in the chat, and where you can know what is this bill to provide the protection of privacy of individuals relating to their personal data. All these things are available. You can go through it. And similarly, right to be correction and eraser, right to be forgotten, penalties and compensation, everything is available. Apart from all this, there is a special thing that is known as data protection officer. In GDPR also, it is available. So what is this? If you will see nowadays, like chief technical officer, security officer, something like that post is available in companies. Okay, they have some specific role. Similarly, what is this DPO? What is the job of DPO? Job of DPO is to address the issues raised by the customer related to data protection. Like suppose some user is telling that my password got leaked in so and so website, then whom they will approach? They will approach to this data protection officer of that particular company. Once this is available with the company, then the company will later, or the DPO will address this issue. So this is must. Okay, earlier this position was not there in any company. So nowadays this position is very much necessary. So if you want to provide a service in the company or in our country, then you need to follow these rules. Okay. Similarly, if you will see, country is going to have a new cyber security policy. This was announced by our Honorable Prime Minister in an Independence Day speech. So therefore, cyber security is coming up as a boom, and nowadays everywhere, if you will see any industry, anywhere, you will see cyber security is playing a role. This is very much essential. What Prime Minister announced, he announced that in, I think this is 2020 Independence Day speech, he told that we will launch National Digital Health Mission. That means what? Now the health record of each and every individual will be stored in a National Digital Health Record. Okay. So if they are storing it, then what is the job we need to do? We need to tell that how we need to see how health record will be secured, because previously what people were doing, they were maintaining personal health record, okay, and the paper they will keep. Now once it has become digital, we need to store it in some cloud service provider. Then we need to check whom we will give the access, what access we will give. So therefore lot of cyber security policies will come, or cyber security mechanisms we need to make. So who are the stakeholders? Hospitals, laboratories, insurance companies, pharmacies, okay, telemedicine firms, lot of people will be accessing. So it is not that the level of access that we will give to a doctor, the same we will give it to a hospital. It doesn't happen. Okay, so therefore cyber security policies are required. And if you will see, recently, I think very recently, Ayushman Bharat Digital Health Mission is launched, and in that they already created this health ID. Okay, so what is this health ID? This unique health ID is a first step towards creating safer and efficient digital health record for you and your family. Okay, So now this health record will be stored in digital. So suppose if you are in Chennai or some places and you have visited some doctors, then that record will be stored in the digital format. And next time, whenever you, after 10 years or sometimes, suppose if you want to show to some doctor in some other places like Chandigarh, then you can give the health ID from that doctor. These are the history of the patient. Okay, these are the problems that happen to the patient. So therefore, it is very much essential to create a health ID, and it is not compulsory. If you want to use, you can use. Whenever you want to come out of this facility, you can come out. Okay, but it is very much secure. Okay, secure and private, and this is what we are as a country. We are moving towards uh, a digital health record system so that anybody can access any from anywhere, like a doctor of Chandigarh can suggest to a patient of Chennai, something like that can also happen. It is not a big deal. So therefore, this is very much essential, and as promised by our Prime Minister in 2020, now they have already launched this on September 30, 2021, almost after 1 year. This Ayushman Bharat Digital Health Mission, using this, they told us health ID. Okay, so therefore, nowadays, what we till now we saw that it is very much essential that we need to encrypt the data, and that is the government are also coming up with this, that we will encrypt the data. So therefore, now what I will do, this is my second part of the talk. So I will come up with different challenges and different solutions that may exist whenever we are dealing with the cloud data. Okay, so now we all agree that we will encrypt the data, and now we will move forward. Okay, so consider this scenario where there are some vehicles are here. Okay, and after few distance, some vehicles are present. So therefore, what is the thing that we can see from here? The slippery level of the road. It is a measure between 0 to 1. Okay. So whenever this value is there, if it is less than 0.5, that means there is no issue. If it is more than that, there is some issue in the road. Okay. So the next incoming car should be informed about this, and they should be cautious. Now, if suppose some attacker is available in the network, then they can change this value, because this cloud storage, what it is doing, it is computing over this data. It is simply just calculating average of the three data. If it is less than 0.5, it will send a green signal. Otherwise, it will send a red signal. Here, the value is greater than 0.5, so it will send a alert message. Okay, it will send a alert message. Now, suppose some attacker is there, then this attacker can see the data because we are not encrypting it, and they can modify the data. Okay, like it is 0.6, and he will think that, oh, it is less than 0.5, let us make it less than 0.5. Okay, this is great. This is less than 0.5, so he will not change. If it is more than 0.5, then he will change it. So therefore, this is an issue. So what this attacker will do, this attacker will change it. Now, if the cloud will compute over this, then what it will get? It is less than 0.5. So naturally, he will send the green signal. Okay. And as soon as he sends the green signal, now these will go and they will collide. Because the road is slippery, the information is getting changed. This is very much sensitive issue. Then what we should do to resolve it? As a solution, we can tell that we will encrypt the data before sending it to the cloud. So car and this storage server, they will have a key, and using that key, they will encrypt the data. They will send it to the cloud service provider. Okay. Then once the data is encrypted, this attacker cannot see the data, and they cannot, hence it will not modify the data. Similarly, if you will see this data like this, all the data will reach to the cloud. Then cloud, what it will do, it will decrypt because the key is already shared. what it will do, it will decrypt the data and then it will send the result. Okay, that is, it will compute, and now attacker is becoming fool. Okay, we are fooling him by encrypting the data. But does it solve the problem? Because what we are giving, we are sharing the key with the cloud, and that we should not do. Here the information that we are sharing is very not that much sensitive, because slippery level it is related to road. Okay, but whenever we are dealing with health data, then we need to be more cautious. And what is that? Suppose cloud can see the data. Okay, cloud can decrypt and re-encrypt after the computation. So therefore privacy is very much crucial. So what we are seeing here in this example is, there are different patients, and patients have some ECG sensors implemented inside their body, and this data that is getting transferred from the patient to the cloud, it is very difficult. Okay, or if somebody is viewing this data, it leads to disclosure of information. So therefore any attacker or the cloud service provider that is available, they can see the data, and through this the privacy will get lost. Okay, so whenever privacy is getting lost, then anybody, that information anybody can use. Okay, and suppose somebody's health information, some attacker knows that his
नहीं
health
विवेक
condition is not
कहाँ
good,
गया
so then they can do some
चला गया
physical attack. They
वो
can
चला
go and steal
है
some gold, or they can
अच्छा
steal
अच्छा
money from their house. Okay, like that, some information, some things they
अचल
can
गाना ना बहुत
utilize
गा
this
रहे हैं भाई
information. So therefore it is very difficult in such scenario.
हम्म,
So what we need to do, our job is to provide a solution for such scenario. Then what we can do as a solution, what we can provide, we can share a secret key with the doctor. Okay, now this people, they, what they will do, they will encrypt the data, they will send it to the cloud. Now cloud cannot see, nobody who is present in the network, they cannot see, but doctor can access the data because he is having the key, he can decrypt it and he can answer. This is a good solution, we can tell, but it does not solve all the problems, right? What is the thing? Okay, so if it is required for the cloud to compute over the data, then how cloud can compute over the data? Cloud also needs to compute over the data. How it can compute? It is very much essential. Why it is essential? Let us see a scenario. There can be an NGO whose job is to ask such question. What is the question? Question is percentage of people with normal cardiac behavior in the age group 20 to 35. Some NGO may ask such questions. Then we need to answer such questions. We means the cloud service provider need to answer, because this is a genuine question. One NGO can ask. One NGO cannot ask each and every individual person, and he cannot go and ask to doctors, because doctor is very much busy. Already, if you will see, we have very less doctors as compared to number of patients we have. Now, if you will overload the doctor with answering such questions, then it is also very difficult. Okay, so therefore, cloud should answer these questions, but at the same time, we are not allowing cloud to decrypt the data. Then how cloud can answer such questions? Okay. So therefore, becomes challenging whenever we have such questions. So how to answer this while preserving the privacy of individual hospitals? Okay, so that we will see. And for this, we have a very important. For this, we have a very important technique that is available. And what is that technique is? See, the encrypted data is provided to the cloud, and now I will give a function. That is what we are doing, right? We are asking some function over that data. So now cloud, what it will do? It will do a function over the encrypted data, and it will send it, which is same as encryption on the function of the data. Okay. So if you will try to decrypt it, you will get function on A. Okay. So rather, if I will put in this term, then encryption on the plain text and doing some operation on that, and when we will decrypt it, we will get operation on the plain text. And this is nothing but homomorphic encryption. Okay. This is what we are going to do. Now, just to give you an analogy, like I took it from this source. Okay. So just to give you an analogy, Alice, what she wants the worker to assemble the raw materials. These are some raw materials. Okay. And what this worker will do, the worker need to assemble these materials and to form a jewelry. But she also thinks that this worker, after creation of the jewelry, he will take out the jewelry and he may left. Okay. So therefore, she wants the worker to process the raw material without having access to it. He doesn't want to give access to this raw material. So what he will do? She come up with an innovative idea. And what is that innovative idea? She created this globed box. Okay. Now what she will do? She will put all these raw materials inside this box. Okay. And once the data is inserted, she will put a lock. Now this person, what it will do? It will come here. It will, using the globed box, using the globe, he will make the jewelry, and he has to go because he cannot open this lock and take out this jewelry. So what he will do? Now Alice, what she will do? She will open this box. She will take out the material and she will go. Okay. So this is what is exactly the same thing that we are doing in case of homomorphic encryption. Okay. So homomorphic encryption, it is of two kinds. One is additive homomorphic encryption and another one is multiplicative homomorphic encryption. So in additive homomorphic encryption, what we do? So we have two encryption of M1, encryption of M2. Okay, this is the encrypted data that is stored. You consider that cardiac health information of the first person, health information of the second person, something like that. Okay. Now I want to add them. Okay. So what I will do, if I will add these two ciphertext, it is nothing but same as encryption of M1 plus M2. Okay. Similarly, if I will go for multiplicative homomorphic encryption, then if I will multiply the ciphertext, it will come as encryption of M1 cross M2. So therefore, it is very much essential whenever we are dealing with such homomorphic encryption kind of thing. So I think now you understood why we are going for homomorphic encryption. Homomorphic encryption, what it will do? Suppose I have my plain text and I have encrypted it and I have sent it to the cloud. Now cloud has that data. I want some operations on that data. So I will send the function. Now cloud will perform the function over the encrypted data. Now whenever cloud will send the result to us, if we will decrypt that, what I will get? I will get function on that data. Okay. So that I will get. So this is nothing but our objective. Okay, this is nothing but our objective, and we want to solve this because I told you that NGO needs to answer such questions where what is the task that I gave to the NGO? The task is this. What is the percentage of people with normal cardiac behavior in the age group? Okay, so like here the data is 1 or 0. Suppose the cardiac behavior data that is getting stored, this sensor device, what it will do, let us suppose some measurement it will put. If the data is greater than the threshold, then I will put 1, otherwise I will send the threshold value as 0. Okay, now this 1 and 0 is encrypted here, but suppose as soon as NGO asks, what cloud will do? Cloud will do some operations over this data. What operations it will do? It will add all this data. Okay, the encrypted data it will add. Now the data that is encrypted, if it will add, then that is same as what? That is same as, let us suppose I am following additive homomorphic encryption. That will be same as encryption of M1 plus M2 plus M3 plus M4 plus M5 like that. And if I will decrypt it, what I will get? I will get M1, M2, M3, M4, M5, all these things I will get. Okay, all this sequence I will get. So if I will add, I can know how many persons are having normal cardiac behavior. But I don't know. I didn't get the information who are the exactly the same person. Okay, I know in this city these are the total count. This is the total count. But I cannot know who are the individual persons. Okay, so in this way we can answer such queries. Okay, so therefore it is very much essential in current scenario where we don't want to disclose the data to the cloud. At the same time, we want answer of such questions. Okay, so for example, here I gave one or two examples by which you can easily understand the scenario. Okay, so see carefully this example. So first one is example of a multiplicative homomorphic encryption scheme. So what is happening here? I think all of you might have studied RSA crypto system. It is just like M1 to the power E more N. So what is this E? E is public key. Okay. So M1 to the power E, this is M2 to the power E, receiver's public key we are using. So if I will multiply these two, then what will happen? Of course, mod N is there, M1 to the power E into M2 to the power E. This is nothing but M1 into M2 to the power E. And if I will try to encrypt M1 cross M2, then what I will get? I will get M1 cross M2 to the power E. Okay. So therefore, whenever I need such multiplication of the encrypted text, then I can use RSA crypto systems. Okay. So therefore, if I will tell you an example, suppose I want to find the area of this rectangle. Okay. I don't have enough computation power. Okay, using which I can do it, but because I don't have enough computation power, I am outsourcing it, and I am outsourcing it to whom? To cloud. Okay, in cloud I have an area solver. What is the job of this area solver? Its job is to multiply both. Okay, the data that is coming to me, I need to multiply them. Okay, so now what I will do? I will use the RSA crypto system. I will encrypt the width, that is 7. I will encrypt the height, that is 3. Okay. So encryption of width is 2. Encryption of height is becoming 126. Now I will send both the values, that is 2 and 126 to this area solver. Okay. That is 2 and 126. Now what this area solver will do? It will multiply 2 into 126, it will multiply, it will get 252. It will get 252. So once this 252 is received by us, what I will do? I will decrypt it. Okay, I will decrypt 252, I will get 21. What is this 21? 21 is nothing but 7 into 3. Okay, 21 is nothing but 7 into 3. So therefore, here you saw, I didn't tell the area solver what is the value of my height and width. Also, the area solver returned me the result, that is 21. We got our objective. My objective was, I will not tell the area solver what is the value of height and width. At the same time, I want the area solver to tell me what is the value of area. So here we are getting that. Okay. So this is the example of multiplicative homomorphic encryption. So based on the scenario, we can get the value. Okay. Another thing is failure crypto system. Okay. So this is an example of additive homomorphic encryption. So I am not going into details. Just I am showing you the ciphertext format here. It is G to the power M alpha RA to the power N. Similarly, what is CB? CB is G to the power MB into RB to the power N. Okay. And if I will multiply CA into CB, what I will get? I will get G to the power M alpha plus M beta into RA dot RB. Okay. And that is to the power N. Okay. So if I will decrypt it, what I will get? I will get MA plus MB or not? I will get MA plus MB. So that is what we are doing. The product of the two cipher text gives the sum of the two plain text of one decryption. Okay. So let us take this example. What is the perimeter of the triangle? Okay. So three sides, that is side A, side B, and side C is given, and I want to find what is the perimeter of this triangle. Okay. So public key, private key, all these things, the parameters that is required for the failure crypto system I found. Then what I did, I encrypted all the sides and I got 2028, 3468, 1499. Okay. Then if I will send this values, that is side A, side B, and this is side C. Okay. Then what perimeter solver will do, because this is failure crypto system, what it will do, it will multiply the three sides, that is A, B, and C. Okay. So it will get this huge number. Then once we receive this huge number, and if we will try to decrypt it, what we will get? We will get this 18. And what is this 18? This 18 is nothing but the perimeter of the triangle. Okay. So 7, 3, 8, instead of 7, 3, and 8, what I gave? I gave 2028, 3468, 1499. So there is no chance of disclosure of information of the sides of the triangle. But at the same time, I am getting the answer. What is the value of the perimeter? Okay. So therefore, in this way, we can solve the problem that I told. Okay. So does it solve the problem? No. In fact, it is not the exact solution. Of course, we reached around 80% of the more generalized problem, but still 20% is left that we need to see. So what is the issue here? The issue is I encrypted all the data using a common key, isn't it? Like the height or the width, or if you will see the additive homomorphic encryption problem, the side A, side B, side C, all the things I encrypted with the same key. But this may not happen in real life scenario. Okay. This may not happen. So what is the issue? Issue is, you see here in this example, you can understand. Suppose there are three hospitals: hospital A, hospital B, hospital C. Okay. Now they have encrypted the data using the same key, and they have stored it in the cloud. Okay. They have stored it in the cloud. And what is the data that they have stored? They stored this data. I mean, total number of patients in the city suffering from cancer or AIDS, something like that. Okay. Hospital A has stored, hospital B has stored, C has stored, and everybody has stored the data by encrypting using the same key. Now, one hospital, whenever he has uploaded the data, the other hospital can decrypt it because the same key we are using. Okay. The same key is shared with all the three. Okay. So therefore, the corresponding key is also there with them. They can easily decrypt it and they can see. But because hospital A, B, and C, they belongs to the same city, they consider the other two hospital as their competitor, and they do not want to tell them that I have such for such and such disease, I have this many patients. They may not want to tell. Okay. So therefore, to solve, and this is a genuine problem. Okay. What they will tell? If any NGO is asking, they should help in answering such questions. But why they will tell to other hospitals? They will not tell. Okay. So this is a genuine issue. So therefore, what we need to do? We need to solve such problem. Okay, so NGO wants to ask this question to the cloud service provider. What are the total number of patients available in the city? At the same time, we do not want the key to be shared between among the hospitals. That also we don't want. So therefore, how can we solve the question? Okay, so this is the last problem that I am discussing in today's talk. So till now we come up with a very small problem of that cars were moving. Okay, in that privacy was not crucial, so we gave the key, we shared the key with the cloud. Okay, where cloud can see what is the value of slippery level. But when it comes to the data that is related to health, okay, so we should not share the data with the cloud. Rather, we should share it with the doctor. So we should use a key so that we will encrypt the data and doctors can only decrypt the data. Okay, that we should do. But the issue, what is the issue here? The second example, what was the issue? Any NGO, if it wants to ask, then it has to ask to the doctor. And that is, the doctors don't have such times. We should facilitate cloud servers to answer such questions. But whenever cloud server tries to solve that question, what was the problem we faced? The problem is these individual hospitals, they think that they are competitor of each other, why they will use the same key. So using the same key homomorphic solution is not enough. So now how can we solve the problem? Okay, this is the fourth problem that fourth challenge, because the challenge is becoming more realistic and it is becoming more difficult. Okay, as we come up from the level 1, level 2, like that, 4 problems we discussed. Okay, now how can we come up with a solution? So that what is our job? We need to preserve the privacy of individual hospitals. That means hospital A, B, C, they will not share the same key. At the same time, if any NGO is asking this question to the cloud service provider should be able to answer such questions. Okay, so if I will put it in this way, then this data owner 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I will not tell hospitals and all. So what is the scenario? Hospital 1 or data owner 1 will encrypt the data with its public key. Okay, that is ciphertext 1. Then data owner 2, it will encrypt with public key of 2. That is data owner 2, it is ciphertext 2. Similarly, ciphertext 3. So each and individual data owner, they encrypted with their own public key. Now they send the data to the cloud storage server. Okay, they send the data to the cloud storage server. Now what the cloud storage server, what it will do? Okay, what it will do? It needs to do a computation over this. So we need to solve this problem. Okay, that is our job. How can we solve this problem? So to solve such problems, we need to use another technique that is available in cryptography, that is known as proxy re-encryption. Okay. So what is proxy re-encryption? Proxy re-encryption is data encrypted with the public key of one user. Okay, data encrypted with the public key of one user. You convert that to data encrypted with public key of another user. That is what we are going to do. And in this way, proxy cannot see the data. Okay, but proxy can convert data which is encrypted with public key of A to data encrypted with the public key of B. Okay, so now this we called a proxy re-encryption scheme. Okay, so to solve this problem, we proposed our own proxy re-encryption scheme, where these are the secret key of Alice, or we can say the first party. These are the public key. Similarly, Bob will have something. Then we created re-encryption key from proxy. Okay, So in consultation with Alice and Bob, so this re-encryption key, that is XC1 by XC2 and XD1 by XD2, once Alice has encrypted the data with its public key, what Alice will do? Alice will send this data to the proxy. Now what proxy will do? Proxy will convert this data encrypted with the public key of Alice to data encrypted with the public key of Bob by using this re-encryption. And that is what proxy is doing in this state. Then once proxy sends this data to Bob, now Bob can decrypt the data and it can get the data, that is M alpha. So in this way, we propose the proxy re-encryption scheme. And I will tell you why we propose this re-encryption scheme. So this is the mechanism. Okay. So one random number is given to Bob. Now Bob, what it will do? It will divide with its key and it will send to Alice. Alice will multiply its key and it will send to proxy. Proxy will divide this R again. So now XC1 and XC2 is the re-encryption key that is created at proxy. And this re-encryption key is used by Alice and Bob. Okay. So now if I will come to the problem that we were trying to solve in the previous slide. Now this, with the help of this proxy re-encryption along with the homomorphic encryption, we can solve the problem. So let us see. So data that is encrypted with the public key, okay, with its own public key is transferred to the cloud storage server. Now what this cloud storage server will do? This cloud storage server, it needs to convert this data to data encrypted with the computation server key. Data encrypted with each and every individual data owner, we are converting them to data encrypted with a common computation server. Okay, so that now if we will try to perform homomorphic encryption over this data, then what will happen? We can easily get the information that we want to do. Okay, so now if I will do any operations over them, then I can easily multiply because all the data is having the same key. And how we did it? We did it using proxy re-encryption mechanism. Okay. Then if any data owner, if it wants to find the solution, so what it will do, this data owner, it will request Y1 and Y2. Okay, that is the result of the computation. Then this cloud server, what it will do, the result that is encrypted with the computation server key, it will reconvert it, okay, to data encrypted with public key of individual data owner. So there are two tasks we are doing. In this stage, what we are doing, data encrypted with individual data owner key, we are converting to data encrypted with the computation server's key. Similarly, here what we are doing, result that is encrypted with the public key of computation server, we are changing to data encrypted with individual data owners key. Then only this data owner can decrypt it and see the result, right? So that's why these are the two tasks that we are doing in such scenario. Now I will discuss few related works, okay, and then we will come to our solution. So what is happening here? Data owner, they already gave data encrypted with the individual data owner's key, okay, data owner's key, to data encrypted with the public key of individual data owner, okay, to the computation server. This conversion is very much essential. Similarly, this conversion is also essential. Now, whenever we are watching this or whenever we are trying to solve and we saw this paper, what they did, they need to send this all this n number of ciphertext to the computation server, and computation server needs to do this. So order of n communication cost is wasted here. Similarly, if n data owners are asking for the result, here also order of n communication is required. Okay, they designed their proxy encryption scheme in such a way that this communication overhead occurred. Similarly, if I will go and CSS send this to computation server to perform this. That's why I colored with red color. Okay, this also. Now, if I will go to the next paper, that is in 2014, fortunately, to do this task, okay, that is data encrypted with the individual data owner to data encrypted with the public key of computation server. For this task, they didn't send it to the computation server. They saved order of n communication. Okay, but unfortunately, their proxy re-encryption scheme couldn't facilitate it for the result part. Okay, data encrypted with the public key of computation server, when it is getting converted to data encrypted with the public key of individual data owner, it is becoming very difficult. Okay, so CSS sends to computation server to perform this. So the SEPRE scheme that I told before 3-4 slides, the proxy encryption scheme that we proposed, we used that and we got a communication overhead reduced. So for both the cases, we need not send the data encrypted with the individual data owner's key to the computation server to change this ciphertext format. Until unless we change, we cannot perform the homomorphic encryption, right? So that's why this needs to be sent to the computation server, and that is not happening. CSS can itself do it. Okay, and for the result part also. Okay, so therefore, if I will compare here you can see in the trans decryption phase. Okay, so our cost is very nil. Okay, that is our scheme, this SEMKC plus and star. Why these two I will tell, because we propose two schemes. One is for if we have more number of multiplication operations, and one scheme if we have more number of addition operations, that I will tell. So here if you will see, then what you will get? You will get the decryption phase, the cost is very nil. Okay, the communication cost is nil. Similarly, if you will go and if you will see here, the encryption phase, the first scheme that I discussed there, it was order of n, but then in this it was nil. But unfortunately, for decryption phase, they occurred order of n in the converting the ciphertext, but in our scheme you can see both are nil. Okay, so this is the advantage that we got in our scheme, and we proved the security of the scheme also. That means it is secure and you cannot distinguish between input, intermediate result and the computation result. So details you can get it from the paper. Okay, so this is the result I want to show you. So results, what is there? Here you can see the total computation cost of our scheme. It is very less as compared to the existing scheme. Okay, that if I will take number of addition, I took 5, and number of multiplication we took 15. If it is less than that, if the number of addition is more than number of multiplication, then also this is happening. And we gave a formula. Okay, what is the formula we gave? I mean, we gave two schemes because the functions that anybody wants to perform, it may not have only addition or only multiplication. They may have combination of terms. Okay, so whenever they have combination of additions and multiplication, they need to decide which one they will choose, and that's where our scheme plays a role. Okay, that's where it is necessary. So here we gave few guidelines like which one to choose when. So if number of addition is greater than 5 times number of multiplication minus 3 by 2, and we decided this based on the scheme that we proposed. Okay, so you need to choose SEMKC plus. So this is, there are two schemes, and here you can see that we already solved the fourth problem also. And now I want to conclude that yes, because data is very much essential and we need to store it at the cloud. Our primary job is to encrypt the data, and whenever we are encrypting the data, there are many more challenges come, because it is whenever we want to perform any computation over that data, it is very much difficult, because it is not same as we can do on plain text. Performing operations on the encrypted text is involve lot of operations. Okay? And of course, whenever you are facilitating security, you have to give extra cost. Otherwise, you cannot get security. So you have to balance between how much security you need and how much cost you can afford. Then we need to choose the technique. So therefore, we need to protect the data using encryption. At the same time, we need to facilitate secure computation. And we saw that whenever we need to provide secure computation, we need to tell or we need to consider the privacy of the hospitals, which was the fourth problem that I discussed at that time. It is very much necessary. And so what are the different research directions that I can give? If anybody interested, they can work, or the second one, we are working on that also. So what about other operations, like suppose some exponential operation or logarithmic operations, how to do that? Okay, so because I explained only about the multiplicative operations and the additive operations. Another thing is, whenever cloud is returning the result, we need to verify the result whether it is correct or not. And we should not compute it again and verify it. That is not the right way, because I cannot compute it at my end, so I am sending it to the cloud. Okay. Now, whenever cloud is giving us the result, how to check it? Okay. So verification of computation result returned by the cloud service provider, we are working on that. And in that, we are checking this blockchain technology. Nowadays, this has become an emerging technology, and many people are using this blockchain technology. So therefore, we are trying how can blockchain technology, how it can help us in solving the verification problem of the result returned by the cloud server, that we are working on. So this is just in the last slide, I thought I should tell you, Gartner is a company, okay, research advisory firm, and they generally give hype cycle for different emerging technologies. So you can search for cloud, you can search for IoT, you can search for AI. Okay, so you can see here, you can choose a problem which will be there for more than some 3 to 5 years. Like here you see IoT security, it is blue color. Okay, blue color meaning what? 5 to 10 years. So this technology will be there for more than 5 to 10 years. So you can go and you can work on that. Okay. Then if you will see this autonomous vehicles, this will be there for more than 10 years. You can work on that. Okay. So some technologies which will be obsolete, you should not use them. Okay. So therefore you can use this, like in which stage it is peak of the inflated expected. Okay. So now the peak blockchain and IoT, this is an emerging area. Okay. It will be there for 5 to 10 years. It has not reached its peak till now. Okay. So like that, you can search in which area you are interested, and you can find a specific problem. Similarly, IoT, healthcare, okay, like that, different issues are available, and you can search for a particular problem. Okay, so with this, I will conclude this talk, and thank you for patiently listening to me. If you have any questions, you can ask now, or after watching the recording of this session. Maybe if you face any difficulty, you can email me. I work in different other areas also. Okay, So like blockchain, also multimedia encryption, AI for cyber security also. So if you have any interest or if you have any questions, please reach out to me. You can visit my webpage in this link. So thank you, madam, for giving an opportunity to discuss with the participants. So if you have any questions, please you can ask.
Participants, if you have any query, then please put it in the chat box. Or sir will take one more session on 12 January, that is Wednesday. Tomorrow, sir will take one more session. So if
Yeah,
you have
that
any
will be
query,
a
then
hands-on session, practical sessions. We will see how to do the cloud operations, how in AWS we will see. That is tomorrow, ma'am, I think. Yeah.
sir.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for giving this valuable information and for this very nice and informative session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Can I leave, ma'am?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.